We have some breaking news as Monte Morris has signed with the Phoenix Suns and they have found their veteran point guard. Let's go. Monte Morris, a guy who can be a solid contributor on the offensive and defensive side, is a nice addition to this Suns team, and Matt Ishbia and James Jones made. Could they be looking to make more moves as well? We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Before we dive in, before we get into all of this news, I would like to say shout out to you guys, as you guys have crushed that goal that CJ and I have set of hitting 1,000 subscribers, and we wanted to let you guys know that the support definitely does not go unnoticed. If you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around this team as we give the daily updates around this Suns team, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button. But you guys are truly the best at letting us hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Without further ado, though, let's dive into the topic at hand, though. This is what you guys are here for. Monte Morris is here, and he is part of this Suns team now. We want to look at this tweet from Shams Charania, and we can see that free agent guard Monte Morris plans to sign a deal with the Phoenix Suns, sources tell The Athletic and The Stadium. Suns lock in a reliable point guard entering his 8th NBA season, where Morris has averaged 10 points in his career on 39% shooting from 3 and 3.8 assists over his entire career. We look at this tweet from Gerald Bourguet. We can see that it wasn't long ago that Morris was one of the best backup point guards in the league, where his season started late last year due to some injuries. But he's a very low turnover floor general who can shoot and defend. Great pickup in his opinion, and I have to agree. I think Monte Morris is a nice guard to be investing in. If we want to look at Monte Morris' stats, we can see he averaged 5 points, 1.7 rebounds, and 2.1 assists on 40% shooting from the field and 39% shooting from 3 last season. He was 6'2", 29 of age, and he shoots 48% on corner threes. Now, he did take a little bit of a dip in his shooting percentages, but I do believe that he can be that reliable point guard that the Suns want. Now, we do know that the Suns were interested in Morris, interested in Lowry, interested in Chris Dunn, and unfortunately for the Suns, I think Dunn was atop of their list, but he ultimately went to the Los Angeles Clippers. That made the Suns kind of pivot. In choosing Monte Morris, I think it was a better choice than Kyle Lowry, and I think overall from the fan aspect as well, they're going to view Monte Morris as a better pickup as well. He's a bit of a veteran. He kind of fits into that mold of being a playmaker, facilitator, someone who can set this offense up, and someone that can get KD, Booker, and Beal the ball. That's what we need with this Suns team. That's what we need out of a guy in Monte Morris. We don't need a guy that needs to be this all-out 20-point per game scorer playing point guard, doesn't need to finish out the games to be this defensive stopper. We need a guy who can come play 10 to 15 minutes comfortably, possibly finish some games out if he's getting hot from 3, and maybe one of our starters is colder and foul trouble. But ultimately, Monte Morris can be that leader, that guy who sets up the offense and can really command that second unit for this Suns team, because that's a struggle that they had this year, was not having that true point guard to really set and run up this offense on that primary unit, but also for their secondary unit as well, which led to a lot of just, catch and shoot and just bringing the ball up and just jacking up a bunch of shots or just trying to pass the ball and trying to find a spot open in the paint. And that's not really necessarily what this Suns team needs for development. Now, Gerald mentions that obviously Monte Morris is a low turnover point guard. Kellen Olson also mentioned that, he's a very, very, very great assist to turnover ratio, which is huge for the Phoenix Suns. As you know, they ranked bottom 5 in the NBA in turnovers with most turnovers. So that's something that they desperately need to correct. And having that point guard and having that facilitator and having somebody set up and run that offense definitely helps. That gets into the next part of the video. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section about Monte Morris and this signing. I think it is perfect, especially as a vet minimum. He's a guy that can come and help you out. We're going to be diving in and kind of exploring what this means for this team and what this kind of means for Monte Morris. Now, as we already know, we've kind of gone over this in our last couple of videos. The Suns roster is getting filled up now. They obviously are a second apron team, so the only way they can address adding players is via the veteran minimums. But Bradley Beal is locked up, Devin Booker is locked up, Allen is locked up, Durant is locked up, Nurkic is locked up, Nazir Little is locked up, Ryan Dunn is here, Royce O'Neal is here, David Roddy is here, Mason Plumlee is here, and now Monte Morris is here as well. That leaves the Suns with 11 total roster spots already committed to players. Now, it says that Damian Lee is committed here, but to our knowledge, Damian Lee has not gone into that player exception yet and is still looking to be addressed as added. So the Suns at this very moment have two roster spots open, with Iguodala taking one of those spots currently as well. And those two guys that could possibly be brought back on those player options could be guys in Josh Okogie and Damian Lee, which ultimately would leave the Suns at 15 guys on their roster and totally capping them out. That would be leaving this Suns team basically with a roster of this starting five: Beal, Booker, Allen, Durant, and Nurkic. Coming off the bench, Monte Morris, Royce O'Neal, Nazir Little, Bull, and Mason Plumlee. And then obviously looking at the third strings, you'd have Ryan Dunn, David Roddy, Iguodala, Damian Lee, and Josh Okogie. That would be the 15 for this roster. Let me know what you guys think kind of about those players, those names down below in the comment section, because ultimately, if that's the case, then this Suns team is kind of capped out at these roster moves, depending on what Okogie and Damian Lee do. Now, obviously, if both these players decline their player options or are to get paid in a market similar in free agency, then the Suns have a roster spot open and can go and get somebody. But at this very moment, it's looking like guys possibly even by the names of Gary Trent and even Buddy Hield out there on the market aren't going to be getting the similar contracts that they were even paid last year around the 18 to $20 million range. It's looking like they're going to be having to take pay cuts. So it's seemingly looking like there's not enough money out there with some of these teams in free agency to be handing out willy-nilly contracts to even guys like Josh Okogie or Damian Lee. So most likely what it screams to me is that those guys are going to be back on this roster as well alongside the rest of this team. Now, we did not mention this, but we did see today as well from the Phoenix Suns them have their introductory, little press conferences. Ryan Dunn was there, Oso Okudaro was there, another player was there as well. Excuse me, I can't remember off the top of my head. But they had their introductory press conferences as well and did their little, talk with the Phoenix media, which was very, very great. And CJ also has a little video coming out for you guys later today detailing the possibility of the Suns going after a guy in Marcus Morris. Now, obviously, that would mean that the Suns would be bringing back a guy in Josh Okogie or bringing back a guy in Damian Lee. But like I mentioned, those things are still possible. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Let me know how you guys feel about these moves that the Phoenix Suns have made in the offseason. Obviously, bringing in Mason Plumlee, now bringing in Monte Morris, re-signing Royce O'Neal. Obviously, they're not stellar A plus winning moves, but they're moves around the edges, like me and CJ had mentioned, that can make the Suns a little bit better, a little bit more prepared than having guys like Utah Watanabe and Drew Eubanks on veteran minimum deals on just the start of free agency. And these guys are actual veterans that can fit into roles that can help the Suns succeed. And ultimately, once the trade deadline approaches, once we get closer to that, the Suns want to use some of their flexibility with some of their younger players to get a more ready veteran, or maybe one of these veterans that they did sign in Plumlee or Monte Morris didn't necessarily live up to their role, or maybe even a guy like Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal is out producing their role. Then they can use one of those contracts to move and bring in some more flexibility for this roster to find a role that really helps out for this team to succeed. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Let me know how you guys feel about this signing. Ultimately, I really like this signing. I think you can play some solid defense, can be that playmaker, be that facilitator. And even though Monte Morris isn't a bright lights name, I still think as a backup point guard, he is still valuable, can still fit in with these players, and I think works great off the ball alongside guys like Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. I think he seemingly fits in with all the players that the Suns are trying to build around, and I think it is a smart fit for the front office and for the player as well, trying to make a deep push in the playoffs and trying to bounce back and maybe give a little bit more of strength to his name in more free agencies in the future. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Let me know how you guys feel about this Phoenix Suns team. Shout out to everybody that has hit that subscribe button, has hit that like button. Thank you guys for getting to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. But just because we hit our goal does not mean the content is going to stop. CJ and I will have an abundance of Suns news coming out daily here for you guys as the season and summer league and off season continues. So we want to make sure you stay up to date. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you stay up to date with everything revolving around this Phoenix Suns team on Suns Digest, as we'll have it covered for you. Once again, I'm Bruce Veliz. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns.